She stood at the doorway, bag slung over her shoulder, eyes too calm for what she was about to say. "I'm too young to be tied down," she whispered. "I need to explore my options." The clock ticked once behind her, then again, then stopped meaning anything. I didn't shout, didn't plead, I just nodded. "Explore all you want." She blinked, as if expecting resistance. There was none. She left that evening, shoes tapping down the hallway like a countdown to her own disappearance. I sat alone on the couch, her perfume still floating in the air like a ghost that refused to move on. Something inside me cracked, not loudly, not painfully, just broke with precision. It wasn't heartbreak, it was clarity. Love was not sacred. It was temporary ownership of someone else's illusion. And hers had expired. For 6 months, silence was my religion. No calls, no messages. She posted pictures, city lights, new faces, endless nights. I watched them with detached fascination, as one studies an animal returned to the wild. I learned how to live without her shadow. Routine became armor. Peace became weapon. Then one morning, 6 months to the day, she appeared at my door. Different hair, same eyes. A faint tremor in her voice. "I'm ready now," she said. "I needed time to figure myself out." I almost laughed, not out loud, but somewhere deep in the ruins of my patience. She reached for my hand. "I want to come home." Home. She used that word like it still existed. I said nothing then, just looked at her, memorizing the desperation behind her mascara. Because beneath it, I saw something she didn't. Fear. The fear of being replaced. And she was right to be afraid. I let her believe she still had a chance. Coffee at old places. Conversations that meant nothing. She talked about regrets. I talked about weather. Each meeting was an autopsy of what once lived between us. While she searched for forgiveness, I searched for the truth. Who she'd been with, what she'd done, who she'd become when I wasn't watching. The trail wasn't hard to find. Messages left undeleted, photos still synced to a cloud she forgot to erase. Men, plural. Exploration, she called it. I studied every timestamp, every smiling face she'd hidden behind. No rage, just observation, like cataloging a dead species. Each night I sat in silence, rehearsing what I would one day say. But the longer I waited, the less I wanted to say anything at all. Words were for the guilty. Silence belonged to the powerful. It happened on a Tuesday, ordinary, cruel in its simplicity. She came over, hopeful eyes, a nervous laugh. "I've missed you," she said. "I'm different now." I slid my phone across the table. Screenshots, names, dates. No words from me, just evidence. Her smile collapsed into something unrecognizable. I was confused back then," she stammered. "I didn't mean to hurt." "You didn't," I cut in quietly. "You just showed me who you are." Her lips trembled. The kind of shaking that comes when someone realizes the game's already over, and they're the only one still playing. She tried to cry, to reach me. I watched, unblinking. I wanted her to feel the absence she'd created. That's when it hit her. I'd already moved on. Her voice cracked. "You're seeing someone?" I nodded once. No elaboration. "She knows what she wants," I said. Didn't need to explore to figure it out. Her expression shifted, from disbelief to horror to something worse. Realization. That she had gambled stability for adventure. And lost. I stood, picked up her bag from the chair, and placed it gently in her hands. "Go," I said softly, "before you confuse yourself again." She begged then, words spilling, voice breaking, apologies twisted into half sobs. I listened to none of it. Because forgiveness would have meant acknowledging the pain. and I'd already buried that. She left exactly as she'd arrived, trembling, uncertain, unfinished. The silence after she was gone felt clean, like the first breath after a storm. I poured a drink, sat by the window, and watched the streetlights flicker across the glass. There was no satisfaction, just balance restored. She thought love was a cage, but she never realized I was the one holding the key. People like her don't understand what freedom costs until they lose it. And by the time they do, it's never for sale again. I don't hate her. I just remember her as a lesson. A reminder that sometimes the cruelest revenge is simply no longer needing someone who once believed you couldn't live without them.